While things are looking to settle down in the Middle East, things are not looking so bright for the Ukraine crisis, with Russia now threatening to deploy missiles in Asia if American missiles become present there. Let's turn to Professor Choi Hyun-jin for details. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us. So the warning came from Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov, who said his country is considering the possibility of deploying medium-range and short-range missiles in Asia. The question is, why such a comment? Where is this possibility stemming from?
Yes, it is true. He said that Russia might place medium and short-range missiles in Asia. And I think this shows Russia's growing worries about U.S. military actions in the region. So his warning comes as global security situation becomes more tense and also reflects Russia's attempt to balance what it sees as a threat from the West. He also said that Russia's response would depend on where the US places its missiles in Asia. And he made it clear that Russia is Russia is ready to take strong actions, such as deploying missiles in key areas of Asia. So I believe that Russia thinks that the US military presence in Asia is a part of a larger plan to limit Russian influence in the region.
Well, Ukraine is also taking its own actions. Its special envoy to South Korea is reportedly visiting South Korea as early as this week, with the main purpose of convincing South Korea to provide Ukraine with lethal weapons. Professor Choi, what kind of weapons is Ukraine looking to acquire from South Korea?
Ukraine is asking for some advanced conventional weapons, and while the exact weapons are not confirmed yet, Ukraine may be interested in the K2 tanks and also K9 artillery system and also a Cheongung air defense system. So these weapons are highly advanced and very effective in modern warfare. The K9 tank is a very powerful, fast, and well protected, and making it great for ground battle. And K9 is an artillery weapon that can fire long distance with accuracy. And also, Cheongung air defense system can highly improve Ukraine's ability to defend its skies from Russian missiles. So Ukraine wants this weapon to compete better against Russian forces, especially before the Mr. Trump takes office in next January, because we are expecting some possible peace negotiation early next year. So before this possible peace negotiation, Ukraine hopes to regain some of its lost territory, and South Korean weapons will be highly valuable for Ukraine's needs.
Well, then what do you think is making South Korea maybe contemplate providing weapons to Ukraine at this point? Is it because of its relations with Moscow?
Uh, yes. So South Korea is now rethinking its position on sending weapons to Ukraine for a few reasons. Because North Korea and Russia are now working more closely together, and which is a big concern for South Korea. And reports say that North Korea has sent large numbers of troops to help Russia in the Ukraine war and received military equipment in return. And this makes South Korea very worried about its own security. And also, South Korea sees some possibility of providing weapons to Ukraine as a way to protect its regional stability. The partnership between North Korea and Russia is a direct threat to peace in the Asia Pacific. And by supporting Ukraine, the South Korea can push back against this alliance and also show its support for global rules against illegal aggression. And I think these are the main reasons South Korea is now somehow considering this option.
Well, another thing is that Russia is also warning of, so-called stern actions if Seoul does give weapons to Ukraine. The question is, what kind of stern actions may be on the table, do you think?
Yes, Russia recently has warned South Korea that giving lethal weapons to Ukraine could lead to some serious consequences and harm their relationship. So while Russia has not given exact detail, it might take some steps like recalling its ambassador or sending South Korean diplomats back home. Russia could also impose some economic sanctions on South Korean companies doing business within Russia. So another possibility is that the Russia might work more closely with North Korea on military issues, such as providing some high advanced technology, such for nuclear submarine or more advanced ICBM missile targeting South Korea, and which could raise serious tensions in the region. So cyber attacks on South Korean system could also be a potential response. So these warnings from Russia show how careful South Korea needs to be in deciding its provision of lethal weapons to Ukraine.
South Korea is indeed in a tricky position at this point. Professor Choi, before I let you go, it's been a while since South Korea hinted at providing lethal weapons to Ukraine. The question is, will it ever happen?
Yeah, South Korea has usually avoided sending weapons to active war areas like Ukraine because of its policy. But recently, North Korea's report and also assistance to Ukraine has made South Korea rethink its position, and the government has said it is considering all options, including providing weapons to Ukraine. And I think this decision might depend on what happens next in international politics. When the Trump administration starts in next January, peace talks led by the United States may begin to address the Ukraine war. So I think that South Korea might wait to see how these talks progress before deciding whether to send weapons to Ukraine. And this would allow South Korea needs to act in line with the United States and also NATO. So I believe we don't need to move faster than other international actors. So I think that watching and waiting before the Trump administration is a sensible strategy at this point.
Alrighty, Professor Choi, thanks so much for sharing your insight with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.